Hey guys, MG Dexter Fun here with a Animar EDH deck tech. This is the last one because he's done now. I'm only missing, I'm missing cards that wouldn't affect the gameplay that much. I mean, Glimpse of Nature would do a lot for me, and so I'm looking for this deck. The only two things I'm missing is Glimpse of Nature and a breeding pool, whether it be foil, non-foil, dissension, non-dissension. It doesn't matter to me, as long as I get one. This is signed by Moorbacher, Peter, the guy who did the art for this card. Anyways, Animar is a 1/1 for a green, a blue, and a red. He has protection from white and black, and whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on him. Creature spells I cast cost 1 less for each 1/1 counter on Animar. So the deck is pretty much just a bunch of, I think there's like 54 creatures or something like that. Anyways, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forests. Nine forests. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 islands. And 1, 2, 3 mountains. So we have 16 basic lands total. No, 17, sorry. 9, 5, and 3, yeah, 17. And then for non-basics, we have Reliquary Tower. This one's in Japanese, but what it does is, I actually, if you have a promo of this, I'll trade heavily for it because I actually want it. It looks really, really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen the new promo for Reliquary Tower, but it looks awesome. Anyways, it's taps for 1 mana of any 1 colorless mana, sorry, and you have no maximum hand size. Skarg the Rage Pits, tap for a colorless or pay a green and a red, and target creature gets +1/+1 and trample until the end of turn. I like it better than Kessig Wolfrun just because I don't have to dump my mana into it. I can save my mana for other things because I have a lot of stuff that I can do. Gemstone Caverns, if it's in your opening hand and you don't play first, put a luck counter on it. It adds a colorless, or if you have a luck counter on it, it adds a mana of any color. So it's a turn 0 land if you don't go first. Reflecting Pool, just mana fixing. Command Tower, obviously has to be in every multicolor commander deck. Then, just for duels and whatnot, we have Misty Rainforest. Flooded Grove, Yavimaya Coast, Hinterland Harbor, Sulphur Falls, Steam Vents, Rootbound Crag, Stomping Ground, Grove of the Burn Willows, Carplusion Forest, and Great Furnace. And then we've got our counter package. Get this out of the way here. There goes the quarter. We have good old counter spell. Hinder. Counter target spell, you may put it on top or bottom. Spell Crumple, you may put it on bottom and put Spell Crumple on bottom. Glenalandria Archmage. She is Persist, and she's a 2/2 for 4 with flying. Pay green, sacrifice or counter target non-creature spell. Then we have Draining Whelk. When he comes into play, counter a spell. Put X 1/1 counters on him, where X is that card's converted mana cost. And then the rest of the non-creature stuff. We have Sensei's Divining Top, Chromatic Lantern, just for color fixing, Cloudstone Curio, bounce permanent. Whenever a non-artifact permanent comes into play under your control, you may return another permanent you control that shares a permanent type with it to its owner's hand. Creature, bounce, bounce, bounce. Crystal Shard, pay a blue or 3, tap it, bounce target creature unless they pay 1. I usually am using that on my dudes. Birthing Pod, sacrifice a creature, search your library for a creature equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost, and put it into the battlefield. Cyclonic Rift, return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hands, and it has overload for 7, so I can return everything I don't control and swing for game. Raincore, enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and trample, and when it's put into the when Raincore would be put into the graveyard, return it to your hand. Ancient Grudge, artifact hate. The only reason I have that in here is because a lot of people are running War of Bones and whatnot, and it really just messes me up. And Time Warp, take an extra turn after this one. There's the non-creature spells, with the exception of one card that I'm going to show you. These help Animar get out earlier than he's supposed to, like turn 2. I've got him out on turn 1 consistently. We have Lotus Petal, sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Birds of Paradise, played on turn 1, then play Animar on turn 2. Tinderwall, it's a 0/3 for 1. You pay 0, sacrifice it, add 2 red mana to your mana pool. So it gets me red if I don't have it. Wild Cantor, a 1/1 for 1, sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I can pay it with a red or a green. And the 2 Spirit Guides, you remove them from your hand and add a green or a red to your mana pool. So it's really good. Alright, now for card draw, we have Elvish Visionary, Soul of the Harvest, Primordial Sage, Muldrifter, Consecrated Sphinx, Gingertaxis, Core Augur is really good for just stopping people. Mercurial Chemister, draw 2 cards and he's removal too. Prime Speaker Zagana, I was excited about her ever since I saw her spoiled. She's really good. Say Animar is like a 6/6 or a 7/7. She comes into play with 7 1/1 counters, and I get to draw 8 cards. So I mean, she's really, really good. Solemn Ramp. When he dies, you draw a card. It's just a staple. I can play him for free a lot. And Kozilek, when he comes into play, draw 4 cards. Annihilator 4. When he dies, shuffle it into your library. For destruction and removal, we have Mold Shambler, Idric Stomphowler, Acidic Slime. Sorry if the foil like reflects off the camera. Sylvan Primordial is a new one from Gatecrash. When he comes into play, for each opponent, destroy a non-creature permanent, and then they control, and then for each permanent destroyed this way, search your library for forest and put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So the more people in the game, the funner that gets. Terrastodon comes into play, destroy up to 3 non-creature permanents. For each permanent put into the graveyard this way, its controller gets a 3/3 elephant. So I mean, it's not bad. Duplicate, general removal, it's pretty good. And then Gruul Rage Beast. When Gruul Rage Beast or another creature enters the battlefield into your control, that creature fights target creature an opponent controls. So it's not a you may fight a creature an opponent controls, it's a you're fighting a creature an opponent controls. Then we've got just other random utility. We have Shrieking Drake. When he comes into play, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. Just say Shrieking Drake. Bounce him over and over again for a blue. Sage Owl. When he comes into play, look at the top 4 cards of your library and put them back in any order you choose. He's a new addition, but I mean, he's just really good. Cloud of Fairies. On top of 2 lands, it's a free creature. Mana War does the same thing as Shrieking Drake, only it costs 2 more. And you can return other people's creatures with that. Clone. Clone, copy a creature, gains all the abilities, and gains the legendary status. So I pretty much just use him for removal, or I'll copy like a Consecrated Sphinx or something. Phyrexian Metamorph. Same thing, only I can copy an artifact. And I can pay 2 life instead of pay a blue. Magnus of the Future. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library, so I can play instants and sorceries, or I can play creatures, or I can do anything like that. Teferi, Mage of Zafir, sorry. He's a legendary human wizard. He has flash. Creatures cards you own that aren't in play have flash. Each opponent can only play spells anytime he or she could play an sorcery. So it shuts down counters, and it just does wonders. Kega, the Tide Star. When it's put into the graveyard from play, gain control of target creature. He's really good. Then we have Bloom Tender. Bloom Tender, for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So Animar and that, I get to add a blue, a red, and a green. Oh, nope, don't fall. You're good. Lotus Cobra, landfall. Whenever a land is a battlefield under your control, you may add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. He's just really good. Wood Elves is a free creature, essentially. When he comes into play, search your library for a forest, put that card in play, then shuffle your library. So I can search out, like, shocklands and whatnot with that. Fierce Empath. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost of 6 or greater. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Oracle of Moldiah. Play an additional land each turn. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card if it's a land. Forgotten Ancient. Whenever someone plays a spell, put a 1/1 counter on him. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of 1/1 counters from Forgotten Ancient to another creature. So just give them to Animar. Thragtusk. When he enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life, and when he leaves, you get a 3/3 green beast. Genesis is new too. I just got him when I went to the big Commander tournament last weekend. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Genesis is in your graveyard, you may pay a green and 2 colorless. If you do, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. So he pretty much is supposed to die. Garrick's Horde. Play the top card of your library reveal. If it's a creature card, you may cast it. You still have to pay its mana cost. Hellkite Tyrant is also a new addition. When he deals damage, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. I have a lot of colorless players at my meta, in my shop, so I play Hellkite Tyrant, and I've won a lot of games with him, actually. Burning Tree Emissary is another free creature from Gatecrash. Excuse me. Actually, a lot of cards from Gatecrash made it in. Master Biomancer. Each creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters. A number of additional 1/1 counters on it equal to Master Biomancer's power, and is a mutant in addition to its other types. Bloodbraid Elf Cascade. When it comes into play, it has haste. Ethereum Horn Sorcerer Cascade, and you can return it to your hand. Phyrexian Revoker. When there's a battlefield, name a non-land card, and you can't activate abilities on the card of the chosen name. And Artisan of Kozilek, just graveyard, recursion. It's really good. And then the last 3 cards are usually win cons. If I can play one of these or get all of them out at the same time, it's game over pretty much. I mean, Craterhoof Behemoth has an overwhelming stampede effect. Urbrass gives all my creatures haste, and Sun Quan makes all my creatures unblockable. Because not very many people play anything with horsemanship. So yeah, like I said, this deck is pretty much done. I'm missing Glimpse of Nature and Breeding Pool. If you guys happen to have that, let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.